What up, good people? It's Khalil Gibran. One time for your mind, two times for your spine. We here with another live reaction video for Brittany Renner and Just Pearl, aka Pearlythings. Pearl is an upcoming YouTuber in the Red Pill men's community. She's been very welcomed by most of the men's community. She's been kind of rejected by a few minority that think she's grifting just to monetize herself on YouTube. And joining her, we have Brittany Renner of Fame Social Media 304. In this conversation, they have the debate, I guess, on can you turn a hoe into a housewife? This is my first time seeing this, so it's going to be very interesting to watch. I can't lie, from the title alone, I'm rooting for Brittany Renner. I'm hoping she can influence some of these women out here to straighten up, and hopefully we see less of the city girl culture. Hopefully we see less of the glorilla culture. Hopefully we see more young women encouraging each other to be wives and starting families, because we definitely need stronger families in our communities. So with that being said, let's get into the video and let's get into the reaction.
Guys, welcome to the Just Pearlythings YouTube channel, and welcome to Sit Downs with Pearl, where I sit down with some guests from my show and we talk about different stuff. Today, I have a special guest, Brittany Renner.
Hi.
The man, the woman, the myth, the legend. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So, today, we're going to talk about, you are one of the most notorious people in the manosphere.
Okay.
And I think that I kind of represent that average viewer that, knows a bit about you, but not the whole story.
Okay.
So I was hoping to start from the beginning. How did this reputation come about? And do you feel like it is deserved?
I do feel that it's deserved because what I've come to understand is that I have misrepresented myself for a very long time. And I would say that my villain origin story was I had first moved to LA in 2014, was linking up with someone after my breakup with a guy I was with for 4 years. And TMZ put out an article and claimed that I said I was pregnant by Colin Kaepernick, right?
Wait, okay, so you're with a guy for 4 years.
We break up.
From high school?
From college.
From college.
Yeah.
And you said 18?
18 what?
When you moved at 18?
I moved to LA in 2014.
Oh, 2014.
Yes.
Okay, and how old were you?
I think maybe 21, 22.
Okay, 21, 20. And you were dating Colin Kaepernick at the time?
I wouldn't...
hooking up?
Whatever.
Lincoln?
Let's just say Lincoln.
Sneaky Lincoln?
At the time. And with that, they had photoshopped a picture. I had posted him for my Man Crush Monday. This is Instagram a long time ago when there was Woman Crush Wednesdays, Man Crush Monday.
Remember those.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had posted him and I put perfection and then I added him. And again, why I posted on my Instagram? Great question. But someone had photoshopped the image. Media Takeout, I don't know if you ever heard of them, but they had posted it and then TMZ ran the story. And I felt like from that moment on, I was labeled a villain. And you have to understand, I was in a relationship for 4 years. Most people know the white guy that I used to date. We used to post together. He's the reason I got into fitness. And I was already labeled a villain, a whore, and was accused of something that I didn't do.
And so what did you not do? So they were
So I had put perfection at his username, and they photoshopped it to say preggers at his username. So they were like, oh, this girl claims that she's...
They were saying that you claimed that you were...
Yes.
Okay.
And I actually looked it up. I have a screenshot too. I looked it up last night to see if the article was still up, and it's still up. So at that moment in time, I realized that even though per society standards, I was someone who, low body count. No, I had not talked to any famous guy, never been around. I had a big following. An ideal situation, right? Starting out in Hollywood, already labeled a whore, a liar, a gold digger. So when I think about how my origin story began, my villain origin story, it was that.
Mhm.
It's like, I haven't even done anything and I'm already
Mhm.
misunderstood.
Mhm.
So I think as time progressed, I really just tried to fake it till I could make it.
Mhm.
And inside, I never, like, especially in high school, like growing up, I never felt like I was just top tier beautiful because I just wasn't. You know, I
Mhm.
was growing into myself. I always had really bad skin, over fried my hair, always wearing extensions, never feeling pretty as even my natural self, like where I am now.
Mhm.
Um, so how I started even like posting videos and having and being maybe like overly sexual
Mhm.
was because I was like, I want to feel like
So-
this bad bitch.
So again, I've only seen like clips of you.
Okay.
I've seen a couple car rants.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna give you seen a
Okay.
couple car rants. I know you released a book.
Yeah, in 2018.
Yeah, and I know that I saw the stuff you did with Fresh and Fit,
Mhm.
PJ Academics, like
Yep.
there's little interviews here and there.
Yeah.
Now Pearl's slick. I'm watching Pearl this whole interview because Pearl is very red pill. So I'm wanting to see if is she gonna set it up for the kill? Because by the look of Brittany Renner's face, she don't know if she getting set up either. So I'm eager to see if she getting set up for the kill or like just how this is gonna go. Let's continue to watch.
So when we go back to you said 2014.
Yes, 2014.
When you're in LA. So then did you start dating Kaepernick?
I would just say that I started like dating, period. Like I
Okay.
kind of just opened it up. It's not like we were exclusive,
Mhm.
whatever. So I would say that the villain came about
Mhm.
was I was a small town girl from Mississippi. Like
Mhm.
to even be in certain rooms with people where
Mhm.
it was unheard of. I never thought these guys would even know I existed.
Mhm.
So I felt like there was still that like starry-eyed element where I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like I had been like thrown into Disney World, so to speak, right?
Mhm.
And, like
She fuck with small town niggas like I bigger dreams. Shout out to my nigga J. Cole, man. I'm gonna save you the rest of my comments for later.
the world is at your fingertips, and again, all of these
Mhm.
high-value men
Mhm.
are now seeking you. And again, I'm a girl from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. People don't even probably know where that
Mhm.
is.
Mhm.
So I think that's where over sexualizing myself and really pitching into that's like the whole bad bitch, like wanting to
Mhm.
feel like something I didn't.
So were you sleeping with a lot of these guys and then like posting stuff on social
No.
media?
Look at Pearl face. Pearl ain't buying none of that shit Brittany talking about.
Okay.
No, actually, like I said, besides that post where I had, made him my man crush Monday, I didn't even say that we were dating.
Mhm.
It's not like I was like, hey, look at me. Here I am at a game or here I am at his house. Like, it wasn't that. It was just, that's how everything started out.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand because there's
Okay.
one article that's a one-off, right?
Yeah.
Like you can kind of recover from one article, in my opinion, anyway. But there was more that happened in between.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Because I'm saying this because this is literally on like TMZ. So
Right.
after that, when I was talking to him, I kind of moved on because I'm like, whatever, you're robotic, we move on.
Mhm.
Kind of got caught up with Trey Songz. So
Okay.
TMZ was like asking him questions about, because like my fitness group was like the
Damn, she's with my boy Trey. Which one of y'all coming home with Trigger? Damn. My boy Trey done knocked a lot of shit down out here, man. Shout out to my boy Trey Songz, man. Hey, Trey Songz, I'm hearing a lot of funny allegations about you too, man. You gotta clear that up. Like, I ain't feeling that, my guy. But damn, he done touched that too. Sheesh.
Fit Thick Army. So then I was linked to him, right?
Okay.
So then that's kind of where it just started to.
So then you started.
Shit wouldn't work out. I would move on.
Okay.
And then like I especially when I first got on social media, it was a different place, right? Early 20s, guys from all over. I mean, it was just, I would entertain one at a time though. That was like my thing. So I was like, when I'm done with you, I'm gonna move on. And then it just became unsuccessful relationships, and I moved on.
Okay, so it was just like you were linked with rapper, entertainer.
A lot of my shit was public, and I feel like that's where a lot of people are like, she's a whore, but it's like there's articles where someone took a picture of me at the movie theater with a guy. That's out of my control. So I would say now, you know, when you've kind of figured out how the world works, you try to be a bit more mindful about who you even step out with, but you can't control if people take pictures of you.
Were you posting any of these guys
No.
yourself? So you never posted?
No, because we weren't exclusive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to post somebody that's my man. Again, I'm a 21, 22-year-old posted that Man Crush Monday. That's obviously very childish, right? But all these other guys, I didn't post them on my page. So.
And so then basically, because you were linked to all these different guys
publicly, yes.
Publicly, now that's when the reputation started to build. Then, so this is where. So then the book comes. Tell me.
2018, yeah.
And from what I know, I haven't read the book.
Okay.
What I know of the book is that you basically exposed a lot of people in the book. This is just what I've heard. You basically, all the stuff you'd been doing, you put in the book. And while you might not have said their names exactly, it was pretty easy for people to figure out who they were.
She was on her superhead shit, man. And it's crazy. I don't like when these bitches be writing all these tell-alls. Because, fellas, we gotta start making these hoes sign some NDAs, man. Because they can't be getting rich off of just getting next to you and being able to tell a story about it, man. From now on, all these hoes gotta sign NDAs, man. NDAs, man. We shall proceed, though.
Okay, well, I didn't expose anyone. Okay. My book was like a 25-year-old memoir, basically. Okay. And I didn't list all of these sexapades. So there were seven people, fake names, 7 relationships, like situationships, whatever you want to call them, and what I learned from that. So there was a lot of, my book was about sharing my story and being accountable. The most like salacious stories or sexapades, they weren't even in there because it wasn't, a lot of these guys, it was
you can tell now if you want.
I'm sorry?
I said you can tell now if you want.
Yeah, I mean.
I'm just kidding.
Yes, I mean, it's just kind of like, that was never my intention. My book never had ill intent. Now, again, I know the salacious marketing was intentional because I knew people were thinking I'm gonna.
It's like a thumbnail.
Yeah, it's clickbait. Like, look at all these guys are in here. Yeah, because I know you're gonna fucking buy the book. But when people actually read it, any person who's read my book is like, wait, this is completely different than how you pitched it, and it really is a book about accountability. So those 7 people really helped. Were like pivotal moments.
Wow, accountability. Man, I might just go buy the book just off of that. You never hear women these days or women ever talk about accountability. So for that part, she has my support. Wow, accountability, man. That's so unfamiliar hearing that from a woman, but let's go on.
Moments for me. So again, I took what came with the salacious marketing. And again, misrepresenting myself is just that, right? So you have to accept what comes behind that. So I wanted to sell a book. I had no problem with doing, using my tactics to get copies sold. And what came with that is she's not trustworthy. She's a whore. And that's all she cares about is money. She's just a quick money grab. Like, she's the girl that cannot be trusted. And I understand that. If you've never read my book, it's like what I'm saying doesn't even make sense. It's like you would actually have to physically read it. That's why the book is called Judge This Cover. You're going to do that anyways. There are people that just took little snippets from each chapter and judge me off of that. You're talking about this guy, I was talking about spitting in his mouth or paying for flights. That was one that was circulating on Twitter. I talked about how I paid for my own flights. So it's like, I'm such a gold digger, why am I paying for my flights? So there's just things in there that I felt like people did not want to understand me.
I just want to pause and say she's a very beautiful woman. We could joke, we can make all the hee ha ha's, but I'm just watching this. I'm like, damn, she's a very beautiful woman. Like, she's supposed to be somebody's wife right now, man. She's too beautiful to be acting crazy out here in these streets. But I just had to say that. Shout out to Brittany Renner.
Didn't open the book, so your opinion doesn't fucking matter about the book. Read it and then tell me how you feel about me. That's kind of how I feel with that.
So then you write the book. Were any of the people that were in the book mad that you wrote the book?
Hell yeah.
The conversations I've had, because there's maybe like two 2 guys in there that I have not spoken to.
I know
right?
if I was in the book, I'd
The
be
other
tight.
5 I've had conversations with since. One of the people had actually asked me to market them as one of the people in it. They didn't mind that.
Okay.
Other guys in my life, just in general, were asked like why they weren't in it. They were like sad, right? But most of the guys I have a good relationship with, like we're still cool. So they understood that that was my experience, that was my perspective, and that was that. I mean, there was one chapter I spoke to recently. He was like, I was just waiting for you to say my name so I could have sued you for everything, right? And I'm just like, well, that wasn't my plan. Like I wasn't trying to hurt you. But he was like, I understood your perspective, and I get it. He said you didn't lie in it. So
Okay, so none of the guys had hurt feelings over the book.
no.
Okay. Well, so that seems, because I kind of thought, like from what I had heard, is that some of the guys maybe weren't happy they were in the book.
I'm sure they weren't, but I
Okay.
think the people that weren't happy about it, the 2 that I'm thinking of in my mind, I just haven't spoken to them.
Okay.
You know, the other 5 I did. So, you know,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how they would feel.
So
now.
you don't think like, because I'm just thinking, I just know how the guys are going to see it. Like you're choosing to publicly link with these people, and maybe you didn't want it to be public, but it's like if you're making a choice to go after the like rappers, athletes, like that sort of thing, of course people are going to call you a hoe.
And that's fine.
Yeah, and no, that's the thing. You don't shy away from that.
Yeah.
But it goes back to my original question, whether you think it's earned or not, or it's like misrepresenting you or not.
Well, I think there's that I have misrepresented myself because again, Bundle of Brittany is like her own. That's like a Frankenstein I have created, right?
Okay.
And that's like a fraction, even just the time we've spent the past few days together. Probably very different than what you've seen online, you know? So that's what I have used to get views and get clicks. And I've realized that I don't have to do that anymore. So that's where the
She's a mastermind. She's a genius. She's the master troller. She's the female 6ix9ine. So that goes to show you that she knew she was doing all along. She know how to get you niggas to do clickbait. And she just smarter than everybody. And this is her turnaround, her plan, reform, transformation stage. And she's gonna capitalize off this too. And I salute you, Brittany Renner. Let's get back into it.
misrepresentation comes in. But again, a hoe, and I guess is in this sphere, right, is someone who has sex with multiple guys. Okay, well, then that's not a term I'm going to shy away from. I've had sex with multiple guys. Now, I'm not going to take that word and be like, I'm so unworthy, I'm a whore. It just is what it is. Like, that's how they want to distinguish what category women fall under. I got no problem with that. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, I've had sex with multiple guys. It didn't work out. I moved on, you know?
Okay, so that part you don't necessarily feel like was misrepresented based on how the guys would see it.
How they would
See it. Okay.
I get it.
Okay. So then next, this is where I heard of you first.
Okay.
Let's talk about PJ.
Okay.
So you do the book. Is PJ next, or is there something in between?
Meaning like when we met?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we met. He actually came to my hosting in 2018, May of 2018. So that's like physically where we first met. It was not romantic. Like I literally had a job there. He's like, hey, I'm gonna come by. Okay, cool. He invited me to his game at UK, February 2019. Right. So we met. I went back for my birthday. So I went to 2 Kentucky games, and that's when we first started talking. Like after my birthday, we talked almost every single day. And I was aware, like, he was younger than me. I always had a lot of judgment towards guys who were younger than me because I'm like, you're younger than me. How can you handle me? You know, right? But I always felt like PJ saw me for me. And that is the fucking God, the honest truth. It makes me sad even thinking about it. Because, like, I don't know, you just think people get you and it just doesn't work out. So that's why I overlooked some of those things, like the age. Oh, he's about to be in the NBA. I overlooked that because I felt like, oh my God, I finally have a guy who doesn't judge me, who sees me for me and like accepts it and understands my value. So I felt like
Girl, stop lying, man. Stop the cap. You was like, man, this nigga about to go to the A. This is my chance. This is my ticket. I'm about to let him shoot the club up. It's up. Feel what I'm saying? You gotta lie. Talking about he's seeing her for her. Cut it out, girl.
he was somebody that like deserved all my time and attention. And, you know, it just didn't end up working out long term.
So, and how old was he when it started? How old were you? Because this is the narrative.
He was 20.
I've got
Yeah.
a million questions
God,
about you.
about the age thing, and I'm so glad you brought it up.
About you grooming. Like they said, because
that I'm a pedophile, predator.
What? Just to give context to the viewers at home, if you guys don't know anything about Brittany, I saw a video of you where you were in the car saying, "This is basically how you can get a kid off of an NBA player."
Yeah.
And it's really easy because these guys don't wear condoms,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
So then a couple years later, when you have a kid off an NBA player, it's not a good look.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And especially that he's a lot younger than you. So what did you feel like was misrepresented there?
So to give a little bit more context to the video too, especially I think I made this video in 2018 and I was in my car ranting, you know, like I always do. And people were saying that, you know, you're a gold digger, you're this and you're that. And my way to defend myself.
And was that when you also said that you pay for your own flights too?
I ain't gonna lie.
I would have to.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm feeling her right now. Like, I don't know if it's the hair. I think it's the hair. I like curly hair and shit, but I'm feeling her right now. I ain't gonna lie. Let's get back into it.
Go to my archive and play the video in its entirety to be able to confirm that.
Okay.
Because there were other times I talked about paying for my flights. But in that video, I was saying that if I really was a gold digger, I could have several kids by now. And so it was an attempt to make a group of people look bad, and I made myself look even worse. Because I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I'm a gold digger. These athletes don't use condoms. I could have a baby by then, right? It aged horribly, right? and I don't ever try to deny that, and I don't do apology tours. It is what it is. I said what I said. Like, that was my truth. That was my experience. The people that I was encountering, it's not even like an athlete thing. A lot of guys don't wear condoms, but it was surprising to me. That people of such high status were a little bit more reckless, right? And for the
you think they have so much to lose.
Yeah, I guess that's exactly what it is, right? It's like, why do you trust me, right? Yeah. And as a young person, and you're not even a young person.
So in your head, you were saying, like, fuck the haters. I could have a kid. None of these people, if you wanted to catch a kid by an NBA player.
It's really easy because they're dumb, right? So that's where the context of that video, right? And then I met PJ, like, we started talking when he was 20 years old. We have a 6-year age gap.
Okay, so you're 26.
Yeah.
20. I'm 26. I'm thinking 20-year-olds are pretty immature.
But I'm telling you, when I met him, I just felt like, and like, genuinely, he had an old soul. That's how I felt about him. So
he had an old soul, bitch. He was a meal ticket.
A lot of people tried to, like, I don't know. I feel like they tried to tell me how I felt and like my intentions. And it's like, I know the truth. Like, I know the person that I was sitting across from at BJ's when we had our first date in Kentucky and Lexington. Like, you can't tell me that.
She tried to hit you with the storytelling, the rom-com storytelling.
You know,
I personally think 20 is old enough to make your own decision. Yes. I put myself when I was 20, and I'm thinking you can't really be groomed at 20 years old. But for some reason, I feel like back then they said that something about you met him in high school.
I did not even know he existed.
Okay.
I didn't. Like, and honestly,
did you see him play in high school?
Never.
Okay.
I don't, but that's what I'm saying. The $200,000 a month, the meeting him when he was in high school. Again, like, even when I first was, like, I met PJ when I went to Kentucky, I was talking to someone who played on the Nuggets at the time. And it was someone that I kind of had a history with. And when I met PJ and we had that connection, I immediately cut the guy from the Nuggets off. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I have my own shit going. I did not know he existed when he was in fucking high school. What? I'm pulling heavy hitters. What am I worried about a fucking kid in high school for? But that's where people just make up their own.
Let them skeet in you.
So it's like, well, I can't really. You guys are going to say what the fuck you want to say. All I can do is sit here and tell you the truth, you know?
So 20, you guys start talking. When did you get pregnant?
I got pregnant.
And you were with him for how long?
So we talked.
Were you guys dating or were you like linking?
No, we were exclusive when I got pregnant.
Okay.
So we talked from February 2019 to February 2020. Now, I don't know what he was doing, with who he was doing it with, whatever. But we started dating February 2020. I left California April of 2020, and I moved in with him. I had my own place, but I was staying in his apartment. We were basically kind of living together already. He asked me to move in with him in the summertime. I got pregnant August 2020. So we had been a year and a half at least familiar with one another, but exclusive probably those 6-8 months.
6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
And did you say, was the child planned?
Yeah. I mean, my son is Paul Jermaine Washington III.
Okay.
Like,
So
he has his father's
you guys
name.
sat down and said, I want to have a kid.
Yes. And I was on birth control for 10 years because I never wanted to go through an abortion. That was just me personally. I'm like, well, if I can prevent it, and I'd rather be safe. And again, like, I'm hot, I'm popping, I got shit going on. I'm definitely not trying to have anybody's child, right? So I got off birth control. And
Unless he was an NBA.
there was a conversation, got off birth control, I got pregnant. So it wasn't some, oops, I came in you and you got pregnant. Like, no, it was, I want a family. I want a child. We're going to get married.
Has PJ ever done like interviews on this?
No.
At all? No. I'm just curious. Would he say the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the truth is the truth. You know, I mean, there's some things like, again, we can share perspective,
Right.
but the facts of the matter are he was planned. So that can't even be disputed. You know, I always thought PJ was like kind of quiet and more to himself. So I don't actually see him ever really doing an interview. Like, I feel like now when we broke up, how everything panned out was like very public and out of character from what I knew of him. But I don't foresee him doing an interview. I don't.
Okay. So you guys break up, or no, you're together. Tell me, how'd you guys split up? And you can be as detailed or not detailed as you want. You don't have to go into.
Okay. There were some things, like, so I had never gone through anybody's phone, and like because at the time I was 28, right?
Girl, you were dealing with athletes?
I never went through anybody's phone.
Never.
Except PJ's.
Okay.
Yep. Because I felt like if I have to go through your phone,
Yeah.
I already have my answer, right? And I'm not doing that. I'm not playing fucking detective, right? So I went through his phone. Again,
Don't go through the phone. Fellas, make sure your phones stay locked. Make sure if you have iMessage attached to any other Apple devices, you keep everything locked. I had one of my girls go through she went through my iPad. Oh man, she seen everything. There was no denying nothing. I got caught red fucking handed. So if you listening, protect that iMessage, brother. Let's get back into it.
this was the summer, like, you know, a few months before I got pregnant. Found some stuff in his phone I didn't like. Nothing confirmed. I mean, just entertaining bitches. Like, okay. I had never been cheated on that I knew of. Right? And I found out stuff that, like, he had sex with someone in the beginning of our relationship. But I'm fine. This is in March. You slept with this girl. I found out July. I had already moved my whole life. I'm already here. Okay, well,
you moved from LA.
Yeah, because I moved from Woodland Hills. I had a condo in Woodland Hills, and I moved all my whole life to Charlotte, North Carolina to be with him. Right. Okay. So I found out some stuff. I'm like, okay, you fucked this girl in March. All right. I love you. And I know what you've seen growing up. I've never forgiven anyone because I've never caught anyone cheating on me. But, like, I understand your family dynamic. So I choose to understand and to forgive you. And so one of my best friends, when we were talking about how we were, like, basically trying to get pregnant, she was like, do you think it's a good idea? Because you just found out all this stuff, right? Like, the voice of reason, right? And she's like, I don't think that's a good foundation. And I was just like, no, I trust who I'm with. Like, I get it. Like, we've talked about it, understand. And he is younger than me, right? He's younger than me. I'm going to try this. I've never done this, but I'm just going to try to overlook it and move on. So with that knowledge, again, this is where I take accountability too. I saw behaviors. I saw red flags. and I still chose to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I loved him. I don't know. I believed in him. And I guess that's where I'm a foolish woman, because I just chose to believe in him.
Yeah, girl, that's La La Land. Respectfully.
Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Just want to give y'all a quick shout out. We all here. Salute to y'all. Let's get back into it.
You know? Yeah. It's just like, and we talked about this a little bit before. Yeah. I'm just thinking like an NBA player, faithful. I've seen him. I've said this before, but I've seen him at the D3 level. D3.
The nerve.
No.
The fucking nerve.
No, I mean, I just saw how those guys would like move around campus. And it's like, that's Division 3 basketball. I'm thinking Division 1 has to be madness. The NBA has to be madness. Yeah. And firsthand, you've been dealing with these guys for like a decade. You know it's madness.
It is. And that's just where I kind of just take it on the chin. And I'm like, I believed in someone and it just didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And I know, and he knows, the conversations and the consistency that I thought, you know, like this was more than enough for me to trust it. Mm-hmm. I just believed in him. Yeah. And I can accept my responsibility in that for overlooking certain things that really I should have paid more attention to.
Why didn't you ever look for like just a normal guy with like a 9 to 5? Because it's just, guys will always say like, pay attention to what they do, not what they say. And and it's like, a lot of times we'll complain about getting like cheated on or something, right? And then, you know, we overlook the 9 to 5 guy who won't.
I would say that, I mean, my first boyfriend I met in college, he was a regular guy and I loved him to death. I had dated a lawyer during that span.
Who broke up with who? College guy.
I broke up with him because it got abusive on both ends.
Mm-hmm. But this is just from the guy's perspective. Like they're going to be like, okay, well that was the guy who wouldn't cheat, but you dumped him.
Well, it got to a place where he was he was condescending and emotionally really abusive. Mm-hmm. And then it got to a place where you're pushing me, now you're bruising up my arms, and now I'm putting my hands on you because I'm trying to defend myself. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like the respect was gone. Mm-hmm. It didn't have nothing to do with whether you cheated or not. It was, we are very toxic together, and I do not foresee us moving past this. Like, I feel like once, and this is me, once that respect is lost for whatever reason, and then now y'all are putting your hands on each other, it has to end, because there's only one way it's going to end. It only gets progressively worse, in my opinion, in my experience. I'm not trying to find out either. You're putting your hands on me, doing all that other stuff. I don't want to see what you're capable of.
Did you file a police report at all, or no?
No.
Because again, it's just like like a lot of times we'll say these things about guys, but it's like, the question is like, me, if I'm getting punched in the face, I
wasn't getting punched in the face. It was more so you were like bruising my arms and pushing me down and little stuff like that. And I know if he would have punched me in the face, that would have also be a different thing. I've never been hit or punched anything ever. So yeah, I feel like it was leading up to being punched in the face. But bruises on my arms to me is a little more than enough.
And then you never hit first?
I slapped him. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but you would agree that's like mutually abusive.
No, that's what I said. I said I didn't. Yeah, I never said it. Oh my God, no! Like it got to a place where I'm like, all right, now I'm about to start putting my hands on you too.
And that's the thing. Like I think a lot of times you actually do, you know, agree with like a lot of the stuff I say, which is interesting.
Really? Why?
I was just expecting to disagree with you on like everything when you came.
Yeah.
On some level, but no, you actually are more based than I thought you were going to be.
I like what you talk about.
Brittany is not dumb, man. She know the transition into the next phase of what she need to do. And I salute her for acknowledging that, taking accountability, and walking straight into it. She's a soldier. Let's clap it up for Brittany Renner one time. Wow. Let's get back into it, family.
I think that it's foreign to me because, and I would say probably a lot of females as well, because I can honestly say, I'll speak for myself because I don't want to speak for everybody, but I never thought about it. I never thought about how men feel. I never thought about, biologically speaking, what makes sense. I never thought about how in marriage, you know, especially if the man makes more, that it's kind of a shitty contract on their end. I know business. That doesn't make sense, you know, unless we're signing prenups, right? So it's just like, since I've been listening to your content and I knew I was going to get on here, I've started to like you a lot more, right? It's easy to just kind of take a clip from you and be like, oh my God, she's this, she's that. I personally like you. Like, your personality is why I got on a 7-hour flight. And I knew that even though I may not agree, and I think that, and not even about agreeing, even though I may not just limit it to just that, like that perspective, I respect it. And I think it's true. There's really not a lot of stuff I think is untrue. And I just have told you, even when we were speaking off camera, that this is a newer mentality. I don't know what this mentality would mean to society as a whole. We kind of talked about the arranged marriages and what would that mean for society as a whole, right? And I can't remember the verbiage you used when we were talking about how the arranged marriages and how women, if we had dreams and stuff we wanted to explore on our own, what that outcome would look like. You said the term. I don't remember the term you used though. Okay. But no, it's like I get it, and all I can do is just be honest about, like, this is the expression that I like, that is coded within me, and I am willing to accept the consequences that comes behind it. So I don't ask for people to look at me through a different lens. I'm just kind of here to be myself and just showcase another perspective. That's really it.
So I'm thinking, so you do looking back, was there anything that you would do differently? And is there a different advice that you would give to a 20-year-old girl that has the same opportunities that you did?
I think the biggest thing that I would want to do differently is
avoid the athletes.
Well, I will say, I have to be honest with myself, because I think it's easy to take the cliche route and say, like, I would do nothing differently. Now, from the wisdom I have acquired, no, I would not change this wisdom for a clean slate. And that's just the God honest truth. But I will say to 20-year-olds, and even to my 20-year-old self, I hate how I allowed myself to just be, like, used up by men. And that came from a lack of self-worth. I did not understand my value that I was born with. I didn't. And I gave, again, people look at sex differently, but sex is spiritual unification. At the end of the day, I don't care how you spin it. It's spiritual.
For women.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah,
for
women,
whatever.
yeah.
Okay, fine. For women, it's spiritual unification. And people that I shared my body with, when I think about my list, it's repulsive because they didn't deserve it. But that was an outcome of me.
She's spitting now. She's spitting now. Let's give her another round of applause. Let's give her another round of applause. Hopefully, one of these clips can save one young woman. If it does that, it does it justice. And for that, I continue to salute Brittany Renner. She's doing and saying all the right things, man. I'm digging it. I'm feeling the hair. She's looking very pretty this episode. She's won me over.
Discounting my worth. And it's disgusting. I hate even having that spiritual tie in any type of way. But yeah, I would absolutely change sexually how I move around. And not even necessarily because of, like, the societal outcome. It's more so from my self-worth.
What's how it makes you, like, feel.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good knowing that you gave a sacred part of you to a man that looked at sex with you as taking a piss. That's not fulfilling. It's disgusting to think about. And I feel like I've beat myself up every single day for my decisions. And what people say about me online holds no candle to what I've told myself on a daily basis. Like, I've been called worse by better, and that better being me. Like, I have talked down to myself, and I felt like I was unworthy for a very long time. And I would say this is more of a recent awareness, like in the past year, where I'm like, Brittany, you were always enough. Like, you never had to seek validation outside of you. You never had to look that far. And that's what I would tell myself. I would and try to tell women, you should really think about who you're laying down with. Like, and that is a more traditional view, but it's like, sex is not even worth it if they don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. They have no desire to, they don't want to know your favorite color. They don't give a shit. So why do you want them over top of you? Again, that's come from feeling used up. And sometimes that's why the used goods comments, they sting. Because
Mhm.
you know what? There are times I felt like that. I feel like the new toy that now is unexciting
Mhm.
and put away in a box. So I just have to accept what I've done and move forward with this awareness and
Mhm.
just know that, okay, the guy that most likely that I'm not looking for a husband, I'm looking for my husband, and there's a difference.
Mhm.
That guy is going to be a very small percentage, and I'm okay with that. I'm at peace, and I'm at peace with the things I've done.
Mhm.
But I will say, moving forward, like talking to any girl, to you,
Mhm.
and whoever's listening,
Mhm.
it's like you really should think about
Mhm.
why you're doing what you're doing. Really think about, why am I attracting that? What part of me is resonating with a guy like that?
Mhm.
If you have all these complaints about him, what's resonating with him? Really analyzing what you're doing. That's what I would suggest.
So why don't? Because in my head, like, why wouldn't you avoid this? If you could go back, you wouldn't avoid the situations. Because I thought in the beginning you said that like you wouldn't change it because of the wisdom you've
Mhm.
acquired. But to me, it's like, oh my god, if I knew what I know now, like I probably would have waited till I was married.
No, I get that, and I
Yeah.
understand that. I think that I have a very influential voice, and I have grown to be a voice for women who have gone through what I've gone through and experienced what I've experienced. And although I can't speak for the majority because my
Mhm.
situation still isn't even average,
Mhm.
right? And I'm aware of that. But my voice is important, just like your voice
Mhm.
is important.
Mhm.
And that's why I would not want to change anything, because what again, I don't know what my
Mhm.
this is a very tough spot to be in,
Mhm.
right? Because you're figuring it out. You have people who are also trying to figure it out. And it's like, I'm needed in this space
Mhm.
because my voice guides those women that you guys talk about,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So that's why I wouldn't change it, because
Mhm.
there's a greater picture. Even in like I told you, my last relationship had the Bentley, had the house, had the kid,
Mhm.
and it wasn't enough.
Mhm.
Okay. So it may be a small percentage of us women who feel this way,
Mhm.
but I feel like that's the voice that I represent,
Oh no. Oh
you know?
no. There's a large percentage of
Okay.
women.
Okay. Well, I
Oh
want to say,
no.
I don't know.
There's a large. They're predicting that 45% of women will be single and childless by
Yeah.
2030. So much so that big banks are investing in like cat food, wine, like things that go with like single
Oh,
women.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a big percentage. So
But
I feel
I'm
like my
saying
voice does matter to
so right.
navigate through this space for
So
them.
so it's like it's like again, it's such a small percentage of men that you're like looking for now.
I know.
Yeah. How do you want to navigate that like moving forward? Do
Forgive
you
me.
do you even want to date like right now? Because you so I know some people when their kids are young like just don't want to date. How do you like feel about that?
I think it has more to do with where I'm at,
Mhm.
emotionally, and it's not even like a jaded thing, right? It's more of, I know my value.
Mhm.
I can have one conversation with a guy now, and I know exactly what he's about. So most of the guys that have presented themselves in front of me just want to fuck me. I'm not interested in that.
Mhm.
And I'm going to keep an open mind, and I'm going to keep an open heart. But I know by how a man approaches me, how he speaks to me,
Mhm.
I know that that he wants more with me. It is just, I know.
I
So that's where I'm like, I'm not going on dates right
Mhm.
now. I'm not talking. I don't have somebody that we talk
Mhm.
every few days, every
Mhm.
day. I have no masculine energy besides like my family, our family friend Jerry. I have no masculine energy in my sphere, in my bubble. I don't, because I think I've focused on men and just dick in general
Mhm.
for a very long time.
Mhm.
And now I'm just going to get to the business.
Mhm.
I understand that the window, the percentage, it's changed a lot from when I was 22.
Mhm.
So all I can do is kind of equip myself financially, take advantage of the opportunities I have now to set myself up,
Mhm.
because I can't rely on a man and someone coming to save me. I can only save myself now.
Mhm.
So that's why dating's not a focal point, but I'm not like turning guys away that actually want to get to know me, like
Mhm.
the real me, not just want to fuck me and say all the right things and fuck me, because I can see through that too.
Mhm.
So I just use discernment now, where I'm like, no guys even really try to talk to me. Like, or I should say, no guys that.
It's like, I don't.
No.
I
Of course,
that.
guys. No. I'm saying, of course, there's guys in my DM, like random people.
Yeah.
But guys that I would be interested in, there's really nobody trying to talk to me like that, and that's okay. That's fine.
Would you date a guy that's a normal 9 to? Okay. Would you date a guy makes $40,000 per year, and he's not hot? He's just like, all right, average guy.
Average guy.
He has a little beer. He's like skinny, little beer belly.
No.
No.
I take care of myself. I'm in the gym 4 to 5 times a week. At whatever his salary is, to me, I feel like I still want to be attracted to the person that I'm with. And $45,000, well, you could be in the gym. A gym membership's $20 a month. So if I had a kid a year and a half ago, and I look damn good. So it's like, I would want someone who takes care of their body. So the beer belly is kind of where you lost me. It wasn't even really the money thing. It was like the attractiveness.
What if he was like dead in the face, but jacked? $40,000 a year.
No, I don't like what I'm looking at. And then, like, especially too, as they get older, like, I like the salt and pepper. Like, they get sexier. Like, I want to date someone that I'm not attracted to.
Would you date someone like 20, 30 years older? 30 years older.
He's salt and pepper and fine? Probably.
He's okay. Because it's just like, even when girls say they're like bringing down their standard, it's like, do we really?
I think I'm like,
you know, percent of men most women find unattractive.
What?
Not just okay, unattractive.
Okay. What?
80. You probably find 80% of men unattractive. So even if and that's why I say, like, even if you find a guy attractive, like, you just think he's fine, that means other girls think he's fine. That's top 20% of men. And it kind of just puts us in the same predicament where it's like, through our 20s, like, this is what the guys are complaining about. It's like, okay, through our 20s, we're gonna sleep around with the rappers, the entertainers, and maybe, like, most girls, I would say, I know the manosphere says differently, don't have access to the guys you would access to, right? But it could be like the town rapper, the town, like, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
And those guys will never commit, and if they do commit, they'll probably cheat. And then we come at 30 and say, take me now, maybe with a kid from someone.
Yeah.
And it's like the guy comes in and feels like he's like settled for, because the guys you really wanted were in your 20s. And it's kind of like what you're saying is kind of reiterating.
This is a real thing, by the way. This is a real thing. From high school to about 28, these young women run the streets, unfortunately get pumped and dumped. And then when it comes time to about 30, they want to spin the block on a lot of things. And this is a phenomenon. And like I've said in other videos, these young men that they would usually go back to after they finish doing what they do have gotten passports and now have access to the rest of the world. But I'll get more into that later. Let's get back into it.
This because you just said now, like, you don't have the guys you want in your DMs anymore.
Correct, but this is how it's meant to be, because a lot of people have villainized me, and I've played into that. Actually, I'm gonna say, people have villainized me, and I have villainized myself, because it's like, well, instead of fighting against it and, I don't know, trying to convince people I'm actually a good-hearted person, it's easier to.
She know how to use these buzzwords. I swear to God, she using the hell out of these buzzwords. Villainize, and she said a whole bunch of other shit, but she know how to use these buzzwords.
To be the villain. So I do feel like the villain element is a lot of, I would say more so what guys fear, right? Because they're thinking she's going to hurt me, she's going to write about me, she's going to this. So to be honest, I wasn't meant to be with any of those guys in my 20s. Like, it wasn't a match. Like, there's nobody then that I'm like, I wish they would take me seriously now. No. Like, I like them the same reason they like me. I'm trophy pussy to them, and they're basically trophy dick to me. We both got what we wanted. I mean, essentially, we wanted to have sex. That worked. I mean, yeah, you have sex and you maybe want to start being in a relationship, but I didn't fucking know them like that. There's a lot of guys I didn't really know on that level to even, it makes sense. So it's not even like you were saying, I'm trying to think of the sentence you said before we started this conversation, though. This topic. So it's not even that I'm like, oh, I wish I had those options. It's just more so like that shit was shallow anyways. Everything was shallow about it. Like, you didn't really want to get to know me for me.
Yeah, but that's like the woman's point of view. You know what I mean? Like,
but they didn't want to get, if they wanted to get to know me from me, it'd been a little different.
Right. No, but I'm saying, like, from the men's point of view, it's going to be, and this is just, you know, again, what the guys are saying.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, you made all those, like, you let all those guys hit for free, and now I got to do all this.
Well, it's not even, I don't even look at it as, well, you did it for free, because I'm not a prostitute. Like, and I'm not a glorified escort.
Right.
Either.
And that might not be how you look at it.
Okay.
But
that's crazy to me.
This is just how, like, this is how men see it. It's like, okay, blessing. Producer. You took your girl on dates, right? Yeah. How would you feel if you took her on, let's say, 5 dates before you hit? I don't know what y'all did. And then you found out that your Bob down the street hit without taking her on shit. Like, it hurts. It's like, it hurts the man's ego.
No, that's fine.
And it hurts. It's not insecurity either. It's just like,
that's where I have to come in and say, okay, like, I'm not saying your ego shouldn't be hurt. I'm saying you're not somebody that is even, like, we're not on each other's radar. So the man that I want can't care about who the fuck I went on, who I did what with. And that's a small percentage. So that's why it's like him saying that, he's allowed to feel that way. I mean, that's fine. Like, you're not on my radar.
But I think the point is, like, all men think like this.
I'm not going to generalize all. I just can't. Like, we can say majority, but I'm not going to generalize and say all. Because it's like, what my biggest issue is like, once
she tensing up a little bit.
you hit a certain age, you're no good. Okay, so women, we hit 30 and we're basically useless to society. Okay, to most men, that's how they're going to feel. That our life still has to go on.
I would say not most men don't feel that way. It's, again, it's the men that we want that feel that way, because those men have options. 80% of men women find unattractive. Those men will date 30-year-olds. They'll date single mothers. They'll do all of it. It's the 20% of men that we want when they say, okay, single mom or no single mom. I'm going to pick no single mom because it's just less headache. Yeah. If I could pick a 22-year-old or a 32-year-old, I'm going to pick a 22-year-old. It's not to say nobody gets through, but just like on a balance of probabilities.
No, and that's fine. I
think the men sometimes get frustrated with us because they feel like we've been sold this fairy tale that's just not real, and these men are not real. Like, to them, and that's where they come in and say, like, women are delusional for, like, wanting these things.
I mean, and from their perspective, that's valid. That I don't have to, like, if that's however, whatever percentage men you want to say that's how they feel. You're saying all. I'm saying I'm not gonna categorize and say all. I don't think all of anything.
I'll give you 5%.
Okay, 5%. Okay, well then I'm only concerned about the 5. Like, I have no, like, I'm not Jehovah's Witness. I'm not here to convert. You guys shouldn't think this way about me. You should see me as this. See my value. I don't need that.
And I'm not saying, like, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
it just is what it is. You're where you're at. You can't undo the men you slept with.
Yeah, and I don't want to. It just is what it is.
You have a child, so you can't undo any of that. There's no point in harping about it. And I think that's the point you generally try to make.
Yeah, is that I accept the repercussions of my decisions. Good, bad, or indifferent.
But my only point is I'm just trying to, like, let you know this is how the men see it, and this is what they're talking about in the red pill.
I get it.
Okay, what were your biggest disagreements with me before you met me?
Biggest disagreements,
or anything on the show that you've disagreed with that I said?
I think there were maybe 3 things.
Okay.
The first. Well, I had only watched one video on your Instagram because I didn't want to do too deep of a dive just yet, right? And it was the women aren't entitled to safety. And I think it's triggering because, like, you think of, like, well, why do I have to fear going down a dark alley, right? But then when you actually think about it, none of us are entitled to safety. So that statement is actually true. So that was one thing. So I kind of went through my own thought process. We move forward. I don't even know.
So many people triggered over that one.
Yeah, because it's like you do want to be like, well, why can't I go down an alley at 1 a.m? Well, you can, but whatever. But I think the other thing we had on the show, again, I don't disagree with. Okay, maybe the the fat comments aren't that nice.
I can't say it.
I would say that
the large majestic creatures.
I don't think they're nice.
They started though.
Okay. But I mean, so I get you trying to defend yourself, and like when somebody says something mean to you, or again, if someone's not nice to you, you're gonna be not nice back. So even from your perspective, I still get it. It's like you attack me, well, you're gonna hit me, I'm going below the belt. You're going low, I'm going to hell. You know what I mean? So I also even though I don't agree, I understand, because if you're gonna talk about me, I'm gonna talk about you too, right? And I think the only thing during our talk with Andrew that I think I got maybe a little hyper was when we were talking about the child support stuff. And that's just because that is a close to home topic, and it is a very it is a topic that is, to me, is talked about a lot, and people who don't have a fucking kid, who aren't going through this process, the lawyers, the custody, child support, all that stuff, you don't have a fucking clue, you know? So every state has different laws. So I think that was the only thing where I felt kind of hyper, but we talked about that like on the show. We kind of got into that stuff and why I felt the way I felt. So I don't know. I like you. I'm gonna be honest. Like I definitely want to shoot more stuff together, and
the pair of nobody saw coming.
Yeah, like I think you're cool as fuck. So I don't know. Like I think that I watched a lot of videos about you on TikTok. People were very like ugly to you. And I don't think they really see your personality, and they don't understand that there is a voice. Every voice is very important, right? Everybody's voice. It doesn't matter what shitty you think their content is. You think they're this. Their perspective is valid, and they are representing a group of people. So you can't, if you care about feelings and you care about truth, then you wouldn't try to downplay other people's perception. Like it's valid. And there's a lot of things too that we talk about, like that you talk about with the marriage and the contracts and disadvantages and biological things. Those are things that just cannot be argued. Like from a biological standpoint, a lot of stuff makes sense. So I like what you're doing personally, and I like you as a person. And I think if more people actually sat down and talked to you, they would like you. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, tell that to the beautiful, majestic creatures. I'm not saying it anymore. It's the beautiful, the sea creatures. Okay, guys, if you have a question to submit to Brittany, go on my story. I'm gonna pick a couple right now. It's on Instagram. Just Pearlythings 1. They took away my actual ones. I'm gonna go. Okay. Oh, this is.
Am I looking oily? Am I good?
Do you think body count matters
for men or women?
For women.
Well, if we're talking about this space that we're in, it does matter. They're literally using body count as a way to. It's a scale. Of course, I'm gonna say no, because I don't want to be judged for my body count. I wouldn't judge a man for his body count. But we're in a world where women are judged.
Yo, I'm feeling like it gotta be the hair. I think it's the hair. I'm feeling this episode.
So to a lot of men, it does matter. There are some men, we don't know the percentage, whatever. There are some men who don't give a fuck. So yeah, I think yes and no.
Would you agree that like better marriages like tend to be formed when they're both virgins, or when the woman's a virgin at least?
I would say from my theory about that is, if you don't know about anything else, there's a greater chance you're going to stay. So what I've come to realize with having different types of sex, when you have a big one, you know when it's a small one, right? And these things, this experience, it shapes how you view what the ideal partner or guy or sex is like. And so if I take the concept of we're both virgins, we both don't know about
Damn. This is the concept that they call in the red pill community alpha wreckage. Alpha wreckage and alpha widowing. Meaning that when she becomes in tune with a certain, I guess, supreme type of man, it's really no going back. It really destroys her palate to deal with, I guess, quote unquote, regular guys, because her standard has been raised up into such a monstrous level that in her mind, nobody can ever match up to that. If you ever been in the streets, you could compare it to like when a dope fiend do dope for the first time, and they always chasing that high. So women that deal with these top percent men is like a fiend that do dope for the first time. They just to they just forever chasing that feeling. Let's get back into it.
Get choked, get spitting in mouths and anal and all this crazy stuff. Sorry, but I'm just saying.
Wait, y'all spit in each other's mouths?
Yes, sir.
You never have? No? I've done a lot of shit though.
Ew, no, that's ew. sorry. That just.
I feel like you only know of each other, so there's a greater chance. Like your mind doesn't necessarily. I'm not gonna say it doesn't wander, but I would say that the probability is a lot lower because you don't know anything. That's it. You know, you don't know what a Lysol can's like because you've never been one. Your husband's a 5-incher, he's a 6-incher.
Man.
Okay.
Lysol can.
Do you think you've peaked? And if so, what age?
Peaked in what? Like look-wise?
Yeah, look-wise. Do you think you've peaked physically, and if so, what age?
Like when I was in my best shape. I mean, obviously I've had a baby now, so my body's changed. I will say that the base is still pretty much the same. I feel like my favorite body, if I'm looking back at old pictures, probably 2019. It's probably like all the pictures I took then. I'm like, damn.
How old were you?
2019. I'm not good at math. What?
2019.
Sorry, I can't even.
So like 2 years ago.
Yeah. I feel like that
3 years ago.
3 years ago. I'm sorry. Like I said, yeah. I feel like body wise, 2019. Yeah, I feel like that was my favorite body. Because again, I feel like I've always had because genetically I've just always had a really nice body, and I was always in the gym as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I was a lot skinnier in the 2015, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So 2019 was probably like my favorite. And then
when do you think most women peak?
Good question.
Also,
probably like mid-20s, maybe. Yeah.
Very good question.
I mean, I'm going off of when I look at the girls I went to high school with on my Facebook. I'm like, she used to be that girl, and she's not that girl. You know, not trying to be mean. It's just like they just look a lot.
It's honest,
and it's like you can't control a lot of it. It's genetic. So unless you have the money to,
it's real shit. Y'all went to my high school basketball game, and it just took me down memory lane back to when I was playing. And the girls that was cheerleading when I was in school 10 years ago. And now I think about everybody now, you know, who's like out of shape, who got more in shape, who had children, who didn't. So just an interesting phenomenon 10 years later.
To get like work done, you're going to age. It's a natural thing. So I don't even say that to be nasty. I just feel like probably like mid-20s, like 25, 26 maybe.
25.
Usually, 26. Yeah. That would be my guess.
I actually think most girls peak at like 19. I think most of the people.
19?
Yeah, I really do.
They're like still babies, I feel like. You're still growing into your body and stuff.
Most girls I know in the U.S. got fat. Like, most girls were in better shape when they were 19, and I think that's like half of it.
Okay.
Maybe some got a little better style by like 21, 22, but I feel like I noticed, I think 19.
Okay.
For most girls.
Okay.
Blessing, my thing isn't loading because of the service. Can you connect me to the Wi-Fi for a second? Thank you.
This has been fun. I'm so glad we got to like talk.
Blessing is top producer. Thank you. Guys, go to Instagram. Follow it while you're there, but for real, submit questions because I'm gonna have her do them.
Hey, yo, shout out to my girl Pearl, man. She keep it a buck, man. She keep it a thou wow, man. Man, she keep it a thou wow. She real thorough, getting Brittany on the platform, asking these real questions from a feminine point of view. You know what I'm saying? Us fellas, we appreciate that. You know, it's some certain things we can't say in this politically correct day and age. You be labeled as so much. So we salute Pearl. Thankful we have her as an ally.
In a second. Okay. Have you noticed a difference in dating since you became a single mother?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that. Do you feel like that has been the biggest difference? What was bigger, having a kid or the book?
The book.
Really? Oh, I thought the kid would be bigger than the book.
The book for sure. Like there was a time, I'm telling you, at one point, the DMs were looking like a Nike store with all the checks, right? After the book.
Must be nice.
I say, but after the book, It was quiet.
Man, she's so pretty.
I feel like it took I don't even really want to say when it picked back up. I don't even know. Probably maybe like 7 or 8 months after the book, it started to kind of bounce back out. But I'm talking, it was quiet.
And that was how old?
I think I was 26 when I released my book. Yeah, 2018.
Okay, 26.
Yeah.
They say the wall is undefeated. It's like 27. Would you date someone like Tate?
Would I date someone like him?
Yeah. Could you do the multiple wives if he was open with you from the jump?
It's like I would want him to myself. But
Good question, Pearl.
But I like the way he carries himself. I feel like he has that Mufasa energy. And I do think it's a lot different if you it's full transparency. I'm never going to say never because a lot can happen between now and never. But I like the idea of someone just being fully transparent. And I don't know exactly. I don't know if I could be one of several, but I just don't want to say never. I don't know. I'm just going to keep an open mind. So I like transparency. I like honesty. I can respect honesty.
If you could have a perfect man that you wanted 6'6", you know what that means?
No, I was like, what?
Okay, 6 feet 6 inches.
6 inches. That's
6
funny.
figures.
Oh my god! I love all these terms.
Would you give up your career?
Give up my career?
Yeah, for the perfect guy.
So I can focus on my career.
So I'm just what? I'm at home doing nothing? Or what am I doing?
You're being a mother.
Being a mom?
Kids, yeah.
I have to have more kids? Is that a part of the deal? Do I have to offer up my uterus, or can we just be in love?
You don't want to have more kids?
I don't know. Never say never. I don't want to I don't say I never want to have more kids. I would never do this because I just feel like I've been humbled in a lot of ways. So right now, unless a man wants to marry me, why would I have more kids? I already have baby daddy, like can't imagine more, especially without that commitment. Again, if we get married and it doesn't work out, that's a whole, whatever. But would I give up my career, have the perfect guy, like he sees the beauty in the Grand Canyon and does the bachata in the restaurant and is romantic?
Then she might be looking for me. I ain't even gonna lie.
That's hard.
Sometimes when you talk, it sounds like La La Land, respectfully.
It's
just because you'll talk about these guys and I'm like, these men aren't real. See, one man sees the beauty is talking about the beauty in the Grand Canyon.
Hold up, Pearl. I've been to the Grand Canyon, Pearl. Let's simmer it down, Pearl. I know you for the fellas and all, but I've been to that Grand Canyon and I definitely see the beauty in that mug. But I digress. Let's get back into it.
But why can't I have a guy that sees the beauty in the Grand Canyon? Why would I want someone that doesn't see the beauty in the Grand Canyon?
Why can't I have a millionaire?
But he doesn't see the beauty in the Grand Canyon? Bro, you're going to be able to make your own money. So why, at the end of the day, you grew up with money. So why would that even really impress you?
My point is it's just sometimes I think when we talk about these perfect guys.
Chill, Pearl. I see what you're trying to do, Pearl, but you dragging it now. You're dragging it.
Guys, and look at when I was younger. Oh God, it's so embarrassing. I don't really want to say it online. Everyone's gonna roast me.
Why would they roast you?
Because it's embarrassing. When I was a kid, oh my gosh, I totally had a list of what I wanted in my future husband.
That's not dumb. That's really smart.
It does, but when I read it back, I was like, God damn, I was delusional.
No, I think
I was like, God damn.
I think for me that I'm not looking for a fucking perfect guy. I just want a guy that has similar values. And I don't know how to be quite honest with you. Why would a guy see the value in me if he doesn't even see the value in? This is gonna sound so crazy. I don't care. I'm gonna say it. If you don't see the beauty in the world and the land and all of these things, why the fuck would you think I'm valuable? You don't even think the Grand Canyon's its value speaks for itself.
Yo, I'm fucking with Brittany Renner. She's speaking my language. She talking that desert talk. God damn. And I've been feeling this whole episode. Look at her. Oh my god. Look at that hair. She talk about the Grand. Oh my god. Excuse me, y'all. I'm just in my bag right now. Whew. That Arizona trip. Shout out to my man Byron. Shout out to my little brother Blake. That Arizona trip was unmatched, man. We was riding ATVs on the fucking Grand Canyon, bro. We was walking like, oh man, the Grand Canyon is. I'm gonna do a video about that soon too. I'm gonna do my own reaction video to some of the clips we got out there. I'm gonna share with y'all the Grand Canyon so y'all can feel how I'm feeling. Cause right now I'm rocking with Brittany Renner over Pearl right now. On everything. I'm on Brittany's side. Let's get it.
So you're not gonna see the value in me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so yeah, I mean, for me, I don't want a millionaire over someone who would want to do that with me. That's just where I'm at, and I'm okay with that. It's not like
They said Grand Canyon is a big ditch in higher.
Oh my God. Whatever.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you're looking at the world with a feminine lens. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the man will see the Grand Canyon. Like, I just think of my brothers, okay? And they're not trying to look at the Grand Canyon and see the beauty in it. And my dad is, I look up to my dad more than anyone in the world. He is a great man, okay?
Mhm.
And, like, I go to him for, like, everything. And I'm like, he would think it was cool, but he's trying to bike it.
But that to me is cool. No, but
yeah,
that's what I'm saying though. Like somebody who would want to bike it, someone who would want to hike, like that to me, it's not about like, oh wow, just the Grand Canyon. It's more so that. Like I think that's cool. Him even wanting to bike it is cool to me. That's the kind of guy I would want. Like I would love to bike the Grand Canyon with someone that I love.
Yeah.
That's like,
but it's like, see, this is where I often like kind of see where the guys are coming from, because it's like, my dad probably would be looked over by most women when he was in his 20s. He was a little nerdy guy, the University of Chicago. Shout out, Dad. Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out, father.
Trying to.
I already know these comments are hilarious. I'm not
Can I read you one? It's kind of mean though. I won't.
Okay, that's fine.
They just said ask her to stop being a hoe. What did they think would happen? Like what she's gonna say? Yeah. Okay. Oh, guys, the Tate Brittany Pearl video. It's probably coming out Friday. My thumbnail guy is out of town this week. So he's out of town until Thursday. So Friday we're gonna do it.
How did you feel about that conversation? Like as a whole?
Good. I think if I had to do it over again, I would have had one, maybe two less people on the panel.
Okay.
Just because I really wanted to hear you more. And I felt like there was some people on the panel that just like kept talking for a very long time.
Yeah. And I think too, I want to clarify because I know that they're going to love that video. Like I love that you even put that together and thought about adding me to that. When I am in a group setting, especially like that type of panel, I'm an active listener. So when somebody's talking, you be quiet. You don't talk. So I think that's why for me, when people are going around and there's three people that have made a point, whatever I had to say, I'm just like, I kind of didn't get to say it because, again, I believe in just listening and letting people talk. And then when it's my turn to talk, I'll talk. So I didn't have a lot of times where it was my turn to talk.
Yeah.
And when I did, I felt like I kind of had to like, hey, actually, you know. So yeah, it wasn't like and again, I liked a lot of the stuff that we talked about, you know.
Yeah, I think if I had to do it again, but something tells me, you know, there may be another one in the future.
Yeah.
Do you want to get married? And are you okay? Would you be okay with a long-term relationship without marriage?
Yes. I've actually thought about this because I would. I don't even think it's really the paper that I want. I think it's just the commitment. And like I think I like the idea of a wedding more than we have to go sign this. And then when we divorce, the courts are in our business because of like what I'm going through with the child support custody stuff. Getting out of that contract is going to be hard. Right. So yeah, I would want like, still I want a ring, still would want a wedding, but I wouldn't have to, I don't think we would have to do it in front of the courts. Legally. Yeah, it would just be a commitment to each other. And like I said, I've actually thought about that because I think I was watching one of your videos where a lot of women just want the celebration, the wedding, and they don't actually care to get married. So yeah, I would be open to that.
Would you be okay with like, cause I always say, I would be cool with just, I want to say a courthouse wedding.
Okay.
But, you know, then I'm like, you know, if he doesn't want to do the contract, that's fine. But I was thinking like just like a small thing with like my parents and my immediate family. Like I think that sounds nicer than like this big, like who needs 300 people at a wedding?
Yeah, I don't even know 300 people that would show up. So No, I love the idea of just like the ceremony and reception and people just celebrating your guys' union.
What's going on, good people? It's Khalil Gibran. One time for your mom, two times for your spine. That was a live reaction video. We're actually going to pause it right here because we have an upcoming stream with Mo Base for your face right here. So if you on this stream, stay tuned, stay on the channel. Make sure you like, click, and subscribe. We're going right into Mo Base interview. It's a new Drew world. Dream do come true. Let's get it.